Gina Prime Time. Now, in the first block, we showed you the fake news segment from the Today Show that described the almost entirely false account from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, where she describes hiding from rioters during the Capitol breach. She wasn't in the Capitol. She was across the street in an office building, and she was never in any danger whatsoever. But she can sure put on quite the dramatic show, can't she? Here to discuss congressional Republican nominee in Maryland District 7 and social media sensation Kim Klacik. Kim, glad to have you with us. And here in studio with me also, our regular guest and one of our best, Erin Elmore. Glad to have both of you with us. Kim, I want to go to you first. There really is nothing that AOC won't politicize these days, it seems. But did you fall for this when you first saw this very dramatic video that we played in the first block here of her describing her beating on the door and being threatened and thinking her life was over and she was going to die?
Yeah, no, thanks. First of all, Dr. Gina, thank you so much for having me. But I didn't believe her at all. And there were so many different reasons why. But I watched her Instagram Live video. And if you look at that, she talks about not just what happened on January 6th, but she also talks about what she encountered on January 5th. Now, I was actually in D.C. on the 5th, speaking at a Moms for Trump event. And she actually described that she encountered some Trump supporters that had spear-like weapons with them behind her car, threatening her.
I want to turn to you because AOC then said, as Kim is relaying, that this was all about, all reminiscent of a sexual assault that she had endured, and very traumatic for her. And, and perhaps that did take place. Perhaps she has endured a sexual assault. We can't possibly know. But it seems like there is a victimhood status with her almost on a monthly basis. She's the victim of this, she's the victim of that. She accused Ted Cruz of horrible things that he hasn't done. She's accused Trump supporters of horrible things that they haven't done. Do you think this ends with her, or is this how she keeps her fan base engaged?
As an attorney, I would say this goes to her reputation for honesty and veracity and telling the truth. She's clearly attention-seeking. She has no foundation in reality when she speaks. Unfortunately, I think her constituents do not care, and she will get reelected. I would much rather see her bartend again, like the Red Hat says, make AOC bartend again. But truthfully, she is not a good person. She is not a good legislator. She hasn't done anything to benefit the American people or her constituents. I saw a very funny meme, however, online today that said she's suffering from a grave illness called diabetes. Which is funny because it's true, and that Joe Biden has raised the cost of insulin. So maybe that will at least bring awareness to some of the malfeasance of Joe Biden's current administration. But she is very sad for having to use a tragedy for her own personal attention-seeking and gain. She said her life was in danger. We know that is false. Mm-hmm. She said to Ted Cruz and other senators, well, you tried to kill me. Well, did any of that happen? And the short answer is no, it did not.
Yeah, and I can't help but think, Kim, as I have you here on the show, of the difference in what you would have done as a congresswoman and the difference between the way that she is, portraying herself as a congresswoman. And I want to give you a chance to just sort of outline what would be different about your leadership as a congresswoman. What is different about the kind of people that Republicans are electing, the kind of women that lead who are conservatives, as opposed to someone like AOC, where it seems to be she is just consumed with herself and talking about herself. And
yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. She is all about AOC, and that's her biggest issue. We saw, what was it, just last year, or maybe 2 years ago, where she was in office and she talked about how she didn't want Amazon to come and bring jobs to her constituents. Who says that they don't want jobs within their district? No.
Attorney, I have to ask you, because, people are building this case against social media companies right now. Right. And I'm seeing this all around. We have many friends who are building cases against social media companies because they feel they've been treated unfairly. We see fact checkers all the time on conservative websites and on conservative social media accounts. We saw it on the president himself over and over again, even on things like he took a day golfing and there's a fact check checker, like, was he really golfing? But we don't see fact checkers on people like AOC who have repeatedly been caught in lies. So my question to you is, do these sorts of omissions of fact-checking on accounts like AOC's play into these lawsuits that are happening right now?
There is absolutely no accountability. We already know that big tech is an arm of the Democrat Party. We know that. They are just their civil corporate actor that can do what the government cannot, because everyone cries and bangs their fists about the First Amendment towards the government. You don't have those protections when you're dealing with a private corporation. We can't say, oh, I have my right to free speech. The corporation can say, I can do whatever I want. Making it even a step further is Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act protects these big tech corporations. It shields them for legal liability. And I would like to know why the conservatives in the House and the Senate haven't done anything about this, because they really should. This has gone completely unchecked. There are no checks and balances, and this is completely unfair. Thank God here in Florida we have Ron DeSantis, our great governor, that is starting to hold these big tech companies liable. And I want to see the Kristi Noems and other conservative governors doing the same thing in their states, because clearly the federal government isn't capable of acting.
And that is really interesting, too, when you think about it, Kim. They might be decent people. Watch this.
My heart aches for the families. I've not had an opportunity, nor will I try today, to contact them, but they put their lives on the line, and it's a hell of a price to pay.
Kim makes a great point. Is there anything that Joe Biden has done so far that you feel is any sort of an olive branch that makes you feel as though he is looking for unity on any level in any topic of policy that you've seen so far?
Actions speak so much louder than words here. There's a reason why the hashtag about regretting voting for Joe Biden is trending so heavily on social media. People are really disappointed. People in the unions that voted for him and backed him, he kept every promise. He said he was going to close the Keystone Pipeline, and that's what he's doing. He's hurting Americans by all of his policies with illegal aliens. People in America are out of work because of the pandemic. Does he care? It seems not. He talks about unity, but actions truly speak louder than words. And he's doing nothing but harming the people of this great nation. What happened to America first? That is not a policy that he believes in. Moreover, we need to support our police. This harkens back to the summer when we had the BLM riots and protests and destruction in 47 cities across our country. And all they said that these are mostly peaceful protests. Well, it is not mostly peaceful when 47 Americans lose their lives. 2 FBI agents, these are parents that aren't going to go home to their children. How can we say anything other but thank you for your service in Blue Lives Matter?
Yeah, great point. Klasick, for being with us today. We appreciate both of you and all you've done to just advance the cause of freedom, because there aren't a lot of people out there putting it on the line like both of you today, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up.